This is WCBG broadcasting from Wagner College in Staten Island, New York. WCBG, small college, big voice. Today's interview is with Flycatcher. Flycatcher actually performed at WCBG's semesterly concert for charity, and we were thrilled to have them. So stay tuned for this interview, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Hi, is this Jeanine?
This is Jeanine.
Hi, this is Greg from
Hi, Greg. How are
Flycatcher.
you?
How's it going?
It's going good. How are things going with you?
Things are going well. I'm with my drummer Connor too.
How's it going?
Hi, Connor.
So you got two-thirds of the band, but hopefully that's good enough.
That's perfect. Thank you guys so much for doing this.
No problem. No problem.
And thank you guys for coming to Wagner. It was a great concert.
Oh no, we had a blast. We love playing at different colleges. It's like that's where you make the most connections. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It makes a lot of sense. I know, like, this is kind of like a new thing for us. We're even, like, doing interviews because I definitely have an interest in learning more about different musicians and, like, what you guys are going through. So how did you guys become a band?
Well, Connor and I and our bassist Jack, all three of us went to the same high school, um, up in like North Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and we all knew each other. And then I went to college and I wanted to start a band because I started writing songs. And then I just kind of like roped everybody together and was like, hey, like, let's all play some music and see how it turns out. And it turned out to be really good. And we are like, all right, let's be a band. And then we just kind of like, we kept at it. And we've been a band since, I guess, the end of 2016. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's been about 3 years. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a while.
So how did you guys pick your respective instruments?
Here, Connor, you go on that one first.
Personally, I just received like a small mini like drum kit when I was like in second grade, and that's I just never. Well, there was a long time where I didn't even touch anything because I just lost interest.
Mm-hmm.
But then one day, my friend from high school was like, "Hey, let's jam," because he was like, "Oh, I play the guitar." And I was like, "Oh, we could totally make something work." So then we jammed. Still, I got a different drum kit, by the way. It's still not on the tiny one. But yeah, we jammed, and I was like, "Wow, this is still really fun." So I started doing it again, and then I got back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like a late bloomer. Like I started playing guitar. Like I played guitar like very briefly in like middle school. We had like a class in our middle school that was like a guitar class. And so I learned how to play, like, the only thing I remembered was how to play a G chord.
Yeah.
And that was it. But then like I became really good friends with this kid in high school named Christian, who's still one of my best friends. And he's an amazing guitarist. And I was like, we were into all the same music, and he was like, you could learn how to play guitar. I was like, oh, I can, like, I can. That's something I can do. So then I went and I like, just I started. He taught me like a Red Hot Chili Pepper song or something, and then I just sort of like stuck with guitar because it was the thing that like made the most sense to me. And then like I don't know, that's why I'm with it now.
I love
So
that.
yeah,
You can
no, it's
definitely
good.
see the interconnectedness of like how you guys learn to play and how it kind of relates to your music. So can you describe your sound for me in 3 words and tell me why those 3 words?
3 words.
3 words.
All right, let me think. I'd say hard is too sexual, Connor. Let's not do that. I would say I feel like one word is that's good is power.
There
Mm-hmm.
you go.
Like or like yeah, I think power is a good word because like I don't know. There's something like there's three of us, so it's like a power trio
Mm-hmm.
kind of, but it's also like everything we do like we try to make it really hit. Like we're really focused on like the visceral reaction that it gives people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're trying to like make like stuff that's like high energy, so power is like a good word. What's another one? Versatile. Yeah, versatile is a good word too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess versatile works because like we just play like a lot of different styles. Um, at least we started playing a lot of different styles, and I think we've slowly honed in our sound a little bit more. But definitely like we've done a lot of random things. And we're starting to get back into that, like playing different like weirder things and trying to explore different genres while also like sounding like us.
Mhm.
No, I feel like there's a third. I feel like there's a better third one. Damn it, I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So what's your songwriting process like?
It usually starts with me, Greg. I'll just make sure I say that because so you know whose voice it is. Um, Usually starts with me, um, sort of writing ideas like on guitar, like in my bedroom, just like coming up with stuff and being like, hey, that sounds cool. And then like typically I'll have to flesh it out enough until like I think it's enough of a song. And then maybe I'll write lyrics to it, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just bring it straight to Connor and Jack and I don't even like write lyrics because I'm like, I want to hear how the instrumental sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sort of iron it out in like a rough fashion. Like we'll just do like a verse and a chorus and figure out what the bridge is going to be, and then like if there's other sections we want to add to it, and then from there I'll like bring it back home and then I'll like re-dissect it again and like rearrange everything and like see how I like it, and then once we get it in a rough position where it's like, hey, this is generally how the song is going to sound, then like all of us together like really just go all in on it and just like, you know, pull it apart and like put it back together until like we think it's perfect in like our heads.
I love that it's a collective process.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like it starts with me, but it doesn't end with just me. You know, like
Mhm.
everybody's helping, and sometimes it happens instantly, and it's like there's no thought that goes into it. It just happens, and sometimes it takes forever, and like we're constantly, it's like pulling teeth. You know.
Lately, I've been listening to a lot of different songs, and I've been listening to your music a lot, and I can definitely hear the care that went into the way the chords and the progression, even like the drum hits, and how like everything seems very not pronounced, but like I'm trying to think of the right word for it. Like everything's placed in a way that
yeah, like deliberate.
Yes, yes.
Oh wow, I appreciate that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and I've been hearing that a lot lately in your music. And on the topic of your music production, what is your favorite lyric that you've ever written?
Oh man.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh, what's your favorite that I've written, Connor? Yeah. Because
Miles. No, I'm just kidding. I think the End of Circles is pretty powerful. It's just like a lot of it's a lot
the part
of
that
like,
I'm singing.
Yeah, just like a lot of pent up just emotion that you just
Yeah.
like to scream out.
So that whole section of the song.
Yeah.
That's a good choice because it's like that covers like
the
whole album.
Yeah, because it's all these questions you're constantly asking yourself.
Yeah.
Like, do you know me?
Yeah.
Am I wasting my time? Like,
yeah. For those that don't know our music, that song, like at the end of that song, I'm sort of just recapitulating all of the stuff that happened that I sing about in the whole album, and like I sort of like bring it back, you know what I mean, and like bring back different like lyrical tropes that I'm singing about before. So that's a good choice, Connor. But I'm trying to think about like something I'm like really proud of, something that like I think is like clever.
Convoluted confidence.
Convoluted confidence is a good line. I like that line. I think. Oh man, it's so hard. I have to like go through my. I'm trying to go through my head really quick. I really like the line that I say in. This is pretty depressing, but I really like the line that I say in our song "Useless and Comfortable," at the end where I say, "Can I be enough if it isn't too late? I wish I'd feel good, but I know it can't stay."
Impactful.
And that, yeah, I don't know. I was just really feeling that at the time when I wrote it, and it like still like when I sing that, it's still like it's one of those lines where like I still feel it when I sing it, and like that's how I know it's good because I like it still resonates with me. So yeah, I guess off the top of my head, I think that I guess that's my favorite.
What is your opinion on streaming services as a band breaking into the industry?
like a service like Spotify is awesome for getting discovered,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like getting it to more people. It just sucks that is like the main bread and butter of the industry because it doesn't pay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it paid more, it'd be a lot
Yeah.
more.
It's like, because back in the day, like bands had record sales to lean on,
Mm-hmm.
and like now we really have no way of like making a living at it unless we like get a significant following and then like tour constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if we did mad numbers on Spotify, we still wouldn't make any money. Like if we were streaming like hundreds of thousands of streams, which is pretty damn good, I'd say.
Yeah.
We would not be like near like our top song. I mean, we don't do that well on streaming. Like our top song has almost like 10,000 streams, and like we have made like total maybe like $300 to $400 off of streaming in the last 3 years of us being a band. So like it's not like that's nothing. That's not even a month's rent, you know, over 3 years. So
Yeah.
it's like that's all that like 10,000 streams is gonna get you. Like, oh man, like,
Gee, thanks.
so
I feel
it's tough, but yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, it's fine. I was gonna say I feel like streaming services have kind of like dominated the industry in a sense where I've noticed for like some bands, even some that we've interviewed, have mentioned like it's this new thing of everyone has to produce singles constantly to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And I feel like the process of writing an album and telling a story through an album is kind of getting lost as like streaming services progress.
No, absolutely. We're kind of struggling with that right now because we're sort of, we want to release another song in early 2020 to remain relevant, but we also want to make sure that that song fits into the context of whatever our next record is going to be.
Right.
So that it serves as a placeholder for now where people can say, hey, they have a new song out and it's good and we like it. But we don't want that to just be like, we don't want that to like, I don't know. We don't want to release something and then like our tastes change and then we're like, wait a minute, that single we released to get streams makes no sense with what we're actually trying to do. And like, it's another thing to worry about. Like, sucks. So you have to stay relevant. You have to constantly be like releasing stuff and like pushing yourself.
Right. And I feel like it's definitely harder today in a sense because I don't know, I kind of miss like growing up going to the store to get like a CD. Or,
I don't
know. I just feel like that type of nostalgia. Yeah.
We have that. Like our age is like, I mean, how old are you? Like 20?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're Connor's 21, I'm 22.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's like going to like FYE or like Barnes and Noble and like listening to like at the CD section that they have, putting on those headphones.
Right.
And like listening in the back of the store, like or maybe going on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
But even like
iTunes was like a privilege.
Yeah, but even like iTunes, like you're only getting 30 seconds of the song. Mm-hmm. And you're like sort of teased into like buying it, but then like you'd have to buy it, and then you'd support the artist pretty fully. You'd give them like your $10 to buy a record, even though you're not getting a hard copy. You're still giving them the money. Mm-hmm. But now you can stream the entire thing, and you sign up for Spotify for free.
Yeah.
Like
it's even on like YouTube now.
Well, yeah, YouTube too. You just get it on YouTube.
Watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Listen to the whole thing.
No commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's really great because like it's super, like we've been lucky enough to get on a couple playlists and get our music pushed. Like we have like a couple listeners in like the UK and stuff. Like, so that's really awesome, and that would never happen without Spotify. But it just sucks that it's not like, I don't know, that it's not a little more sustainable. Yeah.
No, it's definitely understandable. I feel like the music industry has kind of like changed to revolve around that new type of idea. And what is your opinion on the music industry as it is today?
I mean, I think it's overall like a positive thing. I just think there's a lot of predatory people in it, and you need to be aware of who you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And like even like in our 3 years of like trying to like come up in the DIY scene a little bit, like we've had so many like already so many people that just like promoters and like lame venues, and like there's a lot of people that just like talk a big game but have no idea what they're doing. So in that sense, it's like exhausting. But then once you get to the point where like the people are successful and there's money in it and stuff, then like you have to watch your back, because you got to make sure that like people aren't like preying on you, because like a lot of people just see you as a dollar sign if you're actually doing something good. And that really sucks. So like, I mean, the music industry as a whole, I think is like, it's really cool because it's the music industry and like we all love music, but it can be a really toxic place. And I think you just have to come in with your guards up and be ready to like fight, you know?
It's also easy to get like whisked away at the mention of one thing good.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, that sounds promising. But then you do that so many times, you're like, well, all right, we've done this however many times and we still haven't gotten anywhere. So what's the point if we're going to keep doing it? Why should we waste our energy doing this when we could just like simply relax?
Yeah.
And it'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah, and have more fun.
Yeah.
So earlier you mentioned the DIY scene. Is that something prominent where you guys are from in Jersey, or is it just a local scene that kind of is budding in where you are?
New Brunswick has always had, because like we're based out of New Brunswick, and like that's always been, it's been like pretty, there's been a pretty massive underground scene there since like the 80s, like with punk, and then like it's sort of just evolved into like just generally like DIY, like just kids like in college in bands playing, and mostly house shows and whatnot. And so yeah, I mean we like, and like DIY as a whole, like I would say like it's hard to describe. Like New Brunswick has its own little scene, but then like there's so many other little scenes in other places that like I guess you'd call DIY like the national thing, like because DIY stretches like all over the country. And then each city has its own little DIY scene. So like in New Brunswick, we've done really well for ourselves in the DIY scene. And now we're trying. We went on tour and stuff, and we branched out and we played at a bunch of different other cities across the country, and like that was really cool because like we got to like meet the kids that were pretty much who we are in New Jersey, but like in different states. Like meet our like our counterparts in other places. So yeah, DIY. I don't know. It's like a really great way to like build something out of nothing and like get support from people that genuinely care about you. Yeah, and it's also something else you also have to just be aware of though too, because like DIY can also get cliquey and weird and whatever. So you have to be on your toes about that. You can't like get sucked too much into something because you have to remain open to things. People seem to close themselves off when they get into a scene. So that's kind of how it goes.
So you mentioned touring. What was your favorite part of going on tour?
Oof.
Yellowstone, probably.
Yellowstone, yeah, Yellowstone was sick.
We took we had 2 days off, so we went from South Dakota. We left where we were staying at like 5 a.m. We literally got up, saw Mount Rushmore by 6:30, and then we drove the rest of the day to Yellowstone, where we were able to see like we barely even scratched the surface of Yellowstone.
Yeah, we saw like two things. But it was sick though.
The fact that like we got there and saw what we did in the amount of time that we were there. Like we saw bison, grizzly bear, like
eagles.
It was
like everything.
It was insane, and it was it was so cool.
Elk.
Like you're like, wait, this stuff like actually exists.
Yeah,
you're like, this isn't. I'm not just like opening up a National Geographic magazine. Like this is actually
the last frontier, brother. Yeah, no, that was so awesome. Like, yeah, the seeing the sights and seeing the heart of the country that you don't normally see. Like people don't talk about like Wyoming and South Dakota and Idaho. True. Right? People don't talk, like those are states people don't talk about. So like we got to drive through those places and like appreciate them for what they were, and like they're some of my favorite places I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, like I have to go back, and like people make fun of me. Like, they asked me what my favorite state was, and my favorite state was Idaho. Like,
Oh,
they're like, and they're like, that's stupid. Like, you're ridiculous. Like, why is Idaho? Like, I'm not just being like an anarchist. Like, I actually think Idaho is amazing. Like, that place is so cool. Like, the landscape is so diverse. They have so much different wildlife. Like, it's just beautiful. Like, it's huge, and like you can't even comprehend it when you're looking at pictures and
Like
stuff.
when we were there, it was like July 10th.
Yeah, it was the middle of
And
July.
We're driving through or wherever we were, Wyoming on July 10th, and you look around you and there's mountains, but the mountains have like snow on them.
Yeah, there's like snow everywhere.
And like we're used to being around here where it's July, it's just hot and
yes.
gross. But you're like, wait, hold on, like it's not just hot everywhere. Like there's snow and it's July. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
No, it's awesome. It was like really cool. And I mean, show wise, I think our best show was probably like in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, or in Missoula, Montana. Those were just like two great scenes. Like lots of supportive people. Kids went nuts. Like it was just like super exciting to be that far away from home and like have people like actually
Still
care.
react, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really great.
Do you have a favorite venue that you've played in?
You're not gonna like my answer.
I'm trying to think. Favorite venue. I mean, I really liked the Asbury Park Brewery.
Nice.
We did our album release there, and that was really great. The people that worked, like one of my good friends, he's a sound guy there, and like just I think that was more like the vibe was great. Like I just loved the people there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the Asbury Park Brewery is my favorite. How about you?
I mean, I like the vibe of the Stone Pony a lot, and I like the sound that comes out of there. And it's just like we're used to playing in a back corner of a basement that's like all moldy and gross. And the fact that like we've been fortunate enough to like play on a legitimate stage where we're mic'd up and there's just a mob of people in front of us that are all about it. Like that is just
it's exciting.
It's always the coolest feeling.
Yeah, we have lots more venues that we've never played that would probably be better suited.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. But yeah, for now, those are the best ones, I guess.
Are there any places that you really want to play in the upcoming year or two?
There's a venue in Asbury Park called House of Independence. It's a bit bigger than like what we've played before. It's like a 500 person room. I mean, we'd probably play there if we were to like open for somebody, but I just really want to play on that stage. I just really like that venue. I've seen a couple shows there, and it's just like it's cool, and like it's a place that like I've seen some bands I really like, so it would be really awesome to like be on that stage and like perform there. Because even like the Stone Pony, I'd never seen anybody there before we played there, so I sort of have like I was distanced from it, but like it would be really cool to like be on a stage that like somebody I really admired was on that stage at one point. You know what I mean? Not that like being in Stone Pony's lame, because like Bruce has played there and like that's sick. Not discounting Bruce, but yeah.
I think that's relatable in the sense that like obviously when you go to a concert and see someone like you really enjoy listening to, you kind of want to follow in their footsteps and kind of like play in those places. So what's your favorite concert that you've been to?
Oh man. All right, so I have 3.
Okay.
I have a top 3 list and I can't pick, so I'm going to tell you all 3.
Okay, I'm ready.
I've had this organized. So, first is I saw Tame Impala at Madison Square Garden in August, and oh my god, they're so good. And it was just insane. It was like larger than life. I've seen a bunch of bands at MSG, and they were by far the best. I've seen U2 and the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Garden, and Tame Impala was better than both of them, which I was shocked. Yeah, I was like, how? Like, how are these guys better? But they were just better somehow. So that was amazing. And then I saw Boy Genius, Phoebe Bridgers, Julian Baker, and Lucy Dacus play at Brooklyn Steel, and that was just like, it was a sold out show, and that was just like a mind blowing experience because they're all so immensely talented. Like, those girls are like everything I ever want to be. Like, they're so awesome. I like worship Phoebe Bridgers. Like, she's my favorite person ever. And then the last one is I went to one of Modern Baseball's farewell shows in Philly.
Nice.
And I saw them play at Union Transfer, and those shows were sold out too. And like, it was really emotional because it was like the end of an era. But also, I'd never seen them play before, and I missed them every chance I got. And they are just, I don't know, they were just operating on a different level. I couldn't even understand it because like, they're just a rock band. Like, their music is just, it's not anything insane, but
Right.
the vibe was just like, it was electric. Like, every single thing they did, they just like, it was so convincing. I was like, oh my God, these guys are so good. Like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Anyway, how about you?
I guess I've only been to like 3 concerts. So I guess that works out. But
For bands you want to see.
Yeah.
We only have to pick your favorite.
Well, so I saw, my first show was Queens of the Stone Age, which they were just unbelievably good. It was just so much energy. I didn't like, since I'd never been to an actual like concert before, it was just like getting hit with all of this, and it was just so cool. But then I saw Ringo Starr. He was like, I kind of only saw him just to say I saw one of the Beatles. They're like, okay, but the best show I went to was I saw the Foo Fighters at MSG, and it was it was unreal.
Oh, wow.
It was so good.
I love that. Oh my God. Wow. Those all sound great. What artists have you guys been listening to lately?
Like,
Great
yeah, Greet Death. There's this band called Greet Death from Michigan that's really great. Yeah, they're just really good. They have a new album that came out. They're like kind of like shoegaze rock. People really, they seem to be getting really well received though. They're going on tour with Deaf Heaven in the spring, which is awesome because that's a huge band. So like, they're from Michigan. I really like those guys. But for me recently, I've been listening to a ton of Alex G, Sandy Alex G. I don't know, he's just really creative and like really unique, and like I've never really taken a deep dive on his music. And like, it's just something like, it makes me think, it's just music that makes me like think and makes me want to like be more creative. It inspires me. How about you?
I've been listening to Great Death. I've been listening to a lot of like acoustic Oasis.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's more just Noel Gallagher, which is, I think he's superior to the other Gallagher brother, Liam Gallagher. But I've also been listening to like, I've reopened the Pine Grove box.
Pine Grove.
Kind of took a deep dive to them.
Yeah. Nice.
So if you guys can play with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dave Grohl.
That's
Just because I want to feel the energy.
That's funny.
And he's just a powerhouse on whatever he sets his mind to. And
yeah, Dave Grohl's
I just like, as like, I guess a wannabe musician, just to see like somebody like who's just an average Joe kind of fall into like superstardom. I just think that's like the coolest thing, because like you see like famous people that are like, yeah, I'm famous, everyone should bow down to me. But then there's like famous people that are like, I don't know why people think I'm so good. Like, I just think that's like the coolest mindset. Yeah, where you're just like I don't know. I just think that's the coolest.
No, Dave Grohl's a good choice. I think for me, I'd probably have to pick John Frusciante, the guitarist from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Well, the ex-guitarist, because he's the reason I got into music in the first place, like in terms of like playing guitar. And so I think it would be really awesome to like sit down and jam with him and like pick his brains. I feel like that's just like a fantasy of mine, I guess you could call it. I don't know who else, but yeah, I think that would be my pick.
Those are both great artists to pick from. So now I have a question from our PR director, Grace.
Okay.
We've been asking everyone we've interviewed this question, and everyone gives very different answers.
Oh boy.
So, what is your opinion on when an artist has passed away and their music is released? Should it, like unreleased music previously, should it be released or should it just stay in the vault and never see the light of day?
I'd say it depends on how finished it is. That depends on how it's being used. Because I've seen a lot of people use like dead artists' music to like just make money. Because like it's like, hey, like when somebody like Prince died, you know that guy had like 8 records finished and wasn't releasing them because he just didn't want to because he's Prince. But they're finished, like because Prince is a lunatic and he released an album every year of his life. Like so in terms of that, like if you're like, oh, Prince just had this entire record, it was complete and it's just not out yet, I think that's fine to release. Obviously unless he explicitly stated otherwise. But I don't know if like say there's like a rap verse from some rapper that was dead and like I don't know, like a Lil Peep or somebody like that was like that died and then everybody got upset about. Like I would think it would be really stupid to just take his verse and just slap it on a song that like some random other person did. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't seem genuine. So it's like you don't know the artistic choices that musician would have made. Like
you could think you would know, but like you don't actually.
So like obviously like there were some things like unless the artist recorded everything and then it was just up to like the producer to like mix it, but then the guy died. It's like finish mixing it and release it. Like that's okay. But I don't know. What about you, Connor? What do you think?
Well, like the only real example I can think of is like Otis Redding sitting on the dock of the bay, where they finish it, but they put like whistling, which is like fine, but you're like, well, did he want?
Is that what he wanted?
Is that what he wanted in the song? You know what I mean? Like, you could very well be like, oh yeah, we'll just throw whistling on it at the end, but like he could be like, to hell with the whistling.
Sucks.
Yeah, like
that's the worst thing
I
you've
hate
ever thought
whistling. Of. Why would you ruin my song with it? So I mean, if they were to do it in a way that's respectful and in like honor of that person, then I think it's fine. But if they're just using it for like clout, then I don't.
I would hope whoever finishes the work of somebody who passes away is somebody who closely worked with that person and understood their artistic like intentions, and it wasn't just some like random like A&R rep that was like, this would sound good because it'll sell, right? You know. But I don't know, the music industry is a big money machine, so
that's why we've been asking this question, because I feel like independent artists and people who have been in the industry for a long time and people who are recently starting in the industry have very different answers onto how this should be taken care of, because sometimes like as a fan you would want to hear the unreleased tracks, but at the same time like musically it's like, ooh, maybe that choice that was made with this part of the song wasn't what the artist originally wanted, or maybe like the demo track they weren't happy with it. Like I think they haven't released it for a reason.
Exactly.
So it's really tough because you're like it's like, who do we place the importance on, the artist's integrity or like the artist's desire to please the fans, or like what's the important thing here? Like it's hard to tell.
Right. So now we're going to transition to, what do you guys do when you're not making music?
Nothing.
Well, Connor and I both drive. Well, Connor drives for Uber, I drive for Lyft, so we're both rideshare people. So that's like how we make money. But no, I write lots of music. I record music a lot too, and I do freelance like audio stuff. So like I'll go and like record other people's bands and mix their music, or I'll run live sound at like different conferences and stuff like that. But that happens every once in a while. It's not like my full-time job, you know. So that's just stuff I do on the side to like make extra money when it works out. So yeah, I'm pretty much everything I do is like music centric. for lack of a better term. Like I'm always doing something with like audio or music or whatever other than driving. You know?
You're still listening to music like that.
Yeah. What about you, Connor?
I don't even know. Like, I'm not like a huge video game person, but like, I'll do it to pass the time once in a while. I'm not even good. I suck at video games, but I guess that and like, I don't know. I sleep a lot.
Hell yeah.
I guess I do minimal schoolwork, but
Oh yeah, Connor's still in school.
I do just enough to get by.
Wait, Connor, what's your major?
Right now it's liberal arts because I have no idea what I want to do.
Okay.
Hell yeah, he wants to be a rock star, baby. Hey, I studied economics and music, so I feel that. It's like a random combo.
It really isn't though. Like you have to understand music and you have to understand like the business of it, and even just like how.
Yeah,
it goes together.
No, it goes together for sure. Like if I ever give up on the band thing and I want to go like try to get a job, like I could probably work at like a record label for some business reason. But still like
stuff in
yeah, exactly. But still,
I forgot to pay Flycatcher this quarter.
Exactly. But no, it's I don't know, it's strange. Doing music and then like, you know, being in school, it's weird. It's a weird thing.
It's like a whole different animal. I don't know.
It is. It really is.
It's also weird because like we'll do something that's like, I don't want to say like we're tuning our own horn, but like we'll do something that's just like we're like cool. We'll play like a big show. We'll have like a huge crowd, and then the next day I'm just like some other average Joe walking through the hallway at school with my hood up and my hat on because I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yep.
But I'm like these people have no idea what the hell I just did last night. Like they just think
I was rocking out.
Like, I was doing something like actually kind of interesting, and these people have no idea.
I think it's cool though to do like fun stuff, like, you know, be on stage and be the center of attention, but then also go and do normal things because like you stay grounded that way.
I like to be alone a lot.
Yeah, no, it's like when I'm home, like I like to go like do yard work and like chop wood and stuff. Like I get enjoyment out of that.
Yeah,
like it's fun to do that.
Like doing like mulching. Like I love mulching.
Yeah. So like I guess those are other things we like to do. We like to do yard work.
And Connor, you mentioned earlier about video games. I'm gonna ask you, what's your favorite one that you've played?
Oh no.
Oh no.
I gotta think. You know what? When I was in like high school, my friends and we got really into this game called Battlefield, and it's like just all out war. There's like planes and helicopters and tanks and all this stuff, and we just got really good at it to the point where like we'd join a game and like completely change the tide of the game. But like I have so many countless memories of just doing like dumb things with my friends in that.
What game?
Battlefield. It's like Call of Duty, but if someone took Call of Duty to like the next level.
Sick.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about video games.
Yeah, I only know of the Witcher game, and that's only because it was a book. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, see, I played like I played like Mario when I was
Red
little.
Dead Redemption's good. Where you get to play a cowboy.
Oh yeah, that game was fun. We played that together.
Yeah.
Is that for the computer or a device?
I mean both.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. It's everywhere. Who knows? Fortnite, bro.
God, I hate Fortnite.
Oh god.
Okay, so my last question for you guys would be, what are you gonna be working on in 2020?
Well, we have like sort of a new album's worth of material coming together. Still a long ways off, but yeah, we're gonna hopefully drop a song in like early 2020, and then we're gonna just tour a ton. Hopefully play in a bunch of different cities all over the country. Hopefully get all the way to the West Coast. Hopefully do all that business. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'll just see where it goes. We're just gonna try to push it a little bit, push it a little harder, because Connor's getting out of school, and like we're gonna like, you know, we're gonna go for it a little more and see how it works out, because it's now or never. It's now or never, baby. So yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna try to have as much fun with it as we can. I mean, we've been having fun with it. We've been enjoying ourselves, and like we did a tour and like it worked out. So like, why not do it again? You know?
Mm-hmm. I love that. So thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to me.
No problem. Thanks for taking your time. Thanks for thinking we're cool enough to even interview us. That's sick.
Thank you guys again. I really appreciate it, and I had a great time. So thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.
Have a great day.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Again, that was Flycatcher. Please check out their music. It's really great. And stay tuned to listen to some of their tracks.
Disconnected, ill-prepared and unprotected. Miles and miles away from you. Miles and miles away from you. Disconnected, ill-prepared and unprotected. It's been said the time goes way too fast. I guess we're living in the past. It's been said the time goes way too fast. I gotta go. so long. It took so long, but now I'm not torn anymore. Now I'm sure of balance that I've never felt before. Half of me feels really happy. Half of me feels really sad. I found the center. Peace of mind I've never had. It took so long. It took so